Okay, this video is going to be about excretion. What is excretion? Excretion is the elimination of cellular waste products. So, different metabolic reactions, different metabolic reactions have different things that need to get removed from it. So, some metabolic reactions will produce salts or acids or waters that need to be gotten rid of. So, it's different than egestion though, because egestion doesn't go into your blood or anywhere like that. Excretion is when materials got into your blood, they got transported, they went into the cell membrane, a reaction happened, and then it created waste product that then needs to be taken out, excreted. So there's something called nitrogenous waste products. This is from organic compounds that have nitrogen. There are two organic compounds that have nitrogen: peptides and nucleic acids. So in peptides, we have the whole thing with the C in the middle, and then there's tons of branches around it. I could show you if you want, but whatever. But on the left of it, there's an N with a H and an H, and that group there with the N and the H and the H is called an amino group, and that is the toxic thing because it's the nitrogen, and the whole amino group is toxic. And then for nucleic acids, it has the nitrogenous base, and that has nitrogen. So that's the toxic part. Okay, but how does your body get rid of these toxic wastes? So I'm going to talk about the organs that are involved, and then we're going to go more into it. So the organs that are involved are skin and its ability to sweat, lungs, your liver, and what does the liver do really? It cuts off the amino acids. Not the amino acids, sorry. The amino group from the amino acids, and that process is called deamination. And then kidneys, which that is your main excretory system, main excretory organ. So, okay, there's 3 different kinds of end products that organisms turn amino groups into. We're talking about amino groups now. The 3 different end products that they'll turn the amino group into is ammonia, urea, and uric acid. Ammonia is NH3. It's easy to make because the amino group is NH2, so this is just NH3. But it's super poisonous, so you need to have tons of water available to completely let it get it away from you, wash it away from you. So organisms that do this will have to be aquatic and live in water. Yeah. Okay. Urea. It's also toxic, but it's not as toxic as ammonia. And it's harder to make because it requires energy to make. Ammonia does not require energy. You only need a moderate amount of water to do this. So many terrestrial organisms do this. And some aquatic mammals do this too, but yeah. And then the third thing is uric acid, which it's not really toxic at all. It doesn't need any water. So it's produced by organisms that have very little access to water, like desert animals, flying animals, egg-laying animals, because they need to be on their egg, etc. Not because they need to be on their egg. Egg-laying animals is because if you're in the egg, let's say you're the animal that's in the egg, you don't have any access to water. You need to be able, and the baby, the fetus, I don't know if it's called that, still needs to get rid of its waste, so it can't do it with water. Okay. Again, ammonia requires the most amount of water. The most amount of water. Urea requires middle. Uric acid requires the least. And ammonia is the most toxic. Urea is middle, and then uric acid is the least. Okay. So different organisms are, let's say, I'm gonna go into some organisms and just say which type, what do they do? So Protista, they live in water, so they will produce ammonia. Algae and bacteria also produce ammonia because they are also in water and whatever. Plants produce urea, and animals, they're different. So yeah, like the different phylums have different things. Okay, so hydra/coelentrates produce ammonia because it lives in water. Annelids, which is the earthworm, produces urea. Earthworm, again, is segmented. Each segment has two organs called nephridia, which has two organs called nephridia. So there's two nephridia, whatever, which cleans out urea from the animal. How? It mixes urea with water and salt, making it into urine. Each segment has a hole, and urine will drip out of the hole. This is why it's always wet on the bottom of each segment, because it's dripping out. And then I have a little model here. So there's the tubes called nephridia, and they have the hole, which lets out the waste. There's capillaries on the nephridia, with blood on it, which has the urea in it. So it'll like travel to the nephridia. The nephridia will mix it with water and salt. Then it'll let it out. It'll making it into urine, and then it'll let out the urine through the holes. The urea will, I just said the whole thing. Okay, so the job of the nephridia is an excretory organ of an annelid. It cleans out the urea from the blood in the capillary of the earthworm. Okay, arthropod. Arthropod is a grasshopper. That's like the animal that we use for it. It's egg laying and it's flying. So what would it do? It does uric acid. It makes uric acid. In nitrogenous waste, whatever. Okay, yeah. It doesn't need a lot of water because uric acid, as we said before, doesn't really need any water. Okay, has an open circulatory system, so there's no tubing for the blood. That's what it means. And the blood has the uric acid in it. So there's an organ called Malpighian tubules. I don't know if I'm saying it right. And as the blood is splashing around your body, a lot will just automatically splash into the Malpighian tubules. So it collects the water from the blood and the uric acid, and it takes this mixture and it dumps it into a rectum, which is the last piece of their digestive tube. And the rectum takes this mixture of water and uric acid and it dehydrates it, meaning it takes out the water. It does this to its digestion waste product as well. And then, just in general, because the rectum is that type of organ. It takes out water from stuff. So, like, it's part of the digestive tube, so that's what it also does to its digestive waste product. But here we see it in the excretory system where it takes out water from the uric acid. Pretty sure that, yeah. Okay. And then the grasshopper will let out a combined waste of the dehydrated uric acid and the digestive waste product through its anus. It's very good for the grasshopper because it doesn't have an easy way of getting water because it flies and stuff, so its body doesn't really release any water, and it keeps it inside its body because the rectum is taking out water from the digestive products, and it's taking out water from the excretory products, and then together the excretory products and the digestive products are going to come out together as one thing through its anus. And now the animal has all that water that it took out from the other stuff. It didn't release it, and now it has water for its body because it doesn't have a lot of access to water. Okay, chordate, which we use a human to look at. So urea is its nitrogenous waste product. So when you sweat, which is perspiration, urea comes out, making you sweat. Okay. Liver produces urea. The process is deamination, like we said before. I'm sorry for screaming. The process is deamination. It cuts off the amino group from amino acids. It sends urea to the blood, and the blood brings it to the kidneys. So again, the liver produces urea. How? There's a process called deamination. It cuts off the amino group from the amino acids. Here we have the amino group. It sends this amino group, sends the urea to the blood, and the blood brings it to the kidneys. Okay, you have 2 kidneys. Kidneys are ventral, meaning they're on your lower back. Kidneys, the job of it is to clean out urea from your blood and produce urine. It mixes urea with salt and water, making urine. We have this picture here, so there's like you probably have a picture. There's like the kidneys, and then there's tubes that are coming from the kidneys called the ureter, and then you have this thing, bowl type of thing called the urinary bladder, and then you have like a hole called the urethra. So for women, the urethra is short, but for men's urethra extends into their penis. Okay, she drew like a whole thing of like the women's thing where the front is the urethra, and then the middle is the vaginal opening, and then the back is the anus. Okay. Also, women are more prone. Women are more prone to E. coli, because if feces get to your urethra, it's bad, because E. coli is in your feces, and women's what did I just say? Oh yeah, women's like thing is right next to each other, so poop, your urethra, which is in your poop, could get to your urethra, but men's is farther away. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Okay, we're done.